Arun approached the Buddha with trembling hands and a heart heavy with doubt about his worth and abilities. The Buddha greeted him warmly, his serene expression inviting Arun to share the burdens weighing on his soul. Arun said, "Lord, my craft feels flawed, and my heart aches with the thought of never being good enough." The Buddha nodded, his calm presence urging Arun to continue voicing the uncertainties that haunted his thoughts daily. Arun explained, "My threads lack perfection. My patterns fail to impress others. I feel I have little value." The Buddha responded, "Arun, do you believe a river loses its worth because its path is winding and irregular?" Arun hesitated, considering the question, yet his mind remained clouded with self-doubt and insecurity about his weaving. The Buddha continued, "The river nourishes life, whether its course is straight or meandering. Its imperfections are irrelevant to its purpose." Arun said, "I understand your words, Lord, but my craft does not bring admiration. It fails to reflect my intentions." The Buddha smiled and replied, "Perfection is a mirage, Arun. True worth resides in the purity of your intentions." Arun asked, "How can I see my worth when all I see is inadequacy and failed attempts to create beauty?" The Buddha said, "Self-worth is not born of external praise. It blossoms through dedication, resilience, and the courage to create." Arun listened intently, yet his heart carried questions that felt heavier than the threads on his weaving loom. The Buddha shared a moment of pause, allowing his disciples to reflect on the unfolding wisdom within. A bird descended, pecking at the soil before taking flight again, its grace-inspiring thoughts unspoken among the group. Arun said, "If worth stems from purpose, how can I know my craft serves a meaningful purpose for others?" The Buddha replied, "Your craft serves when it offers comfort, inspiration, or joy. Worth transcends appearance and focuses on impact." Arun reflected, "When I weave, I wish to inspire beauty and connection, yet my heart doubts the impact I provide." The Buddha smiled and said, "Doubt clouds the light of truth. Trust that each thread carries the intention that inspired it." Arun asked, "What if others do not see the value of my work? Does their judgment erase its worth entirely?" The Buddha responded, "Judgment is fleeting and subjective. Worth exists independently, like the moon's radiance despite its craters. The right path unfolds with trust," he said. "It does not promise ease but offers meaning beyond understanding." The disciples knew these truths would guide them as they navigated the labyrinth of their spiritual quests ahead. Let the act of weaving be the mirror reflecting your dedication and creativity. Arun nodded, yet his mind remained filled with questions, seeking clarity to illuminate his doubts about his self-worth. The Buddha said, "Worth reveals itself gradually, like a lotus blooming. Each petal unfolds with patience, understanding, and compassion." Arun asked, "How can I find compassion for myself when my thoughts dwell on inadequacies and failed attempts at perfection?" The Buddha replied, "Practice kindness toward yourself. Treat your doubts like clouds. They pass without tarnishing the sky's brilliance." Arun said, "I fear my worth will never shine like the sky, forever dimmed by the shadows of imperfection." The Buddha smiled gently and said, "Light shines in darkness. Worth is not extinguished by flaws but illuminated by resilience." Arun asked, "How can I anchor myself in resilience when my heart falters with the weight of judgment and uncertainty?" The Buddha said, "Anchor yourself in the joy of creation. Focus on the harmony between your hands and the loom's rhythm." Arun reflected upon the Buddha's words, sensing the beginnings of understanding but yearning for deeper clarity in his heart. The Buddha continued, "Remember the banyan tree. Its twisted branches provide shelter and sustenance. Imperfections enhance its unique beauty." Arun said, "I wish to embrace my imperfections, but fear holds me back from accepting them as part of my worth." The Buddha replied, "Fear is a veil. Lift it by recognizing that imperfections are the essence of authenticity and individuality. When doubt is met with kindness and patience, it transforms, nurturing the soul and allowing growth to flourish." The disciples nodded thoughtfully, their expressions shifting as they began to grasp the profound simplicity of the teaching. It persists, fueled by the light of intention and purpose. Arun said, "If I focus on intention, can I release the doubts and fears that bind me to feelings of inadequacy?" The Buddha replied, "Intention is the seed, and practice is the soil. Nurture them both, and the bloom of worth appears." Arun asked, "Does every person have worth even if their actions fail to achieve the results they had hoped for?" The Buddha responded, "Worth is universal, like the air we breathe. Actions matter less than the heart behind them." Arun said, "I am grateful for your wisdom. Yet my journey to believe in myself feels as long as the horizon." The Buddha smiled and said, "Journeys begin with a single step. Take each moment as a chance to affirm your worth." Arun said, "I will try to meditate upon your words and focus on the joy my weaving brings to my heart." The Buddha replied, "Trust the threads of your life to weave their own tapestry. Each strand adds to the design." As the sun set, Arun felt lighter, as though the Buddha's words had untangled some of the knots in his soul. He returned to his loom with renewed purpose, ready to embrace his craft with the wisdom the Buddha had shared. Another day. As the sun cast its golden light over the village, the Buddha sat beneath the great Champaka tree. The air was calm, and disciples gathered around him, their hearts open to receive the wisdom he graciously shared. Among them came a wealthy merchant, draped in silks but carrying an invisible burden that weighed heavily upon his soul. The merchant bowed low before the Buddha and spoke, "Lord, though I have much, I feel hollow and insignificant." The Buddha met his gaze with compassion, sensing the unspoken turmoil within the merchant's heart, clouded by doubt and comparison. The merchant continued, "I compare myself to others who have less, yet I still feel I am never truly enough." The Buddha nodded gently, encouraging the merchant to reveal the ache that festered deep within his restless and troubled spirit. The merchant said, "Despite my wealth, my heart is empty. I measure myself and come up lacking in every way." The Buddha responded, "When you measure worth by comparison, you create a mirage that leads only to dissatisfaction and sorrow." The merchant asked, "If comparison blinds me, how can I see clearly and recognize my worth without it as a measure?" The Buddha said, "Worth is like the fragrance of a flower. It exists regardless of who notices or admires its beauty." The merchant hesitated, "But Lord, the world judges me for what I own, and I have come to believe their voices." The Buddha gestured to the surrounding disciples, saying, "Each carries burdens and gifts unique to their journey, incomparable to anyone else's path." He continued, "Look at the trees surrounding us. Some stand tall, others shorter, yet all provide shade and sustain life." The merchant remained silent, his heart absorbing the Buddha's words like a parched land yearning for the monsoon rains. The Buddha shared, "Comparison shrinks your soul, like a bird caged by its own fear. Freedom lies in embracing your purpose." The merchant asked, "How can I free myself?" "Lord, when my mind returns to comparing what I am with what others are." The Buddha smiled and said, "By shifting your focus, let your actions reflect service, not competition, and you will find peace." The merchant said, "I have used my wealth to trade, but it has only filled my coffers, not the emptiness inside me." The Buddha replied, "Trade not merely for gain but for the good of others. Let your actions light the path to worth." To move with the river, he said, is to trust its guidance while honoring the steady truth of your intention. Another disciple spoke softly, "Master, how do we balance surrender with action?" knowing when to let go and when to strive. The Buddha's eyes glimmered with understanding as he replied, "Balance arises from listening to the harmony of your inner and outer worlds." The merchant said, "I fear I lack the strength to transform my heart, which has long been shrouded in discontent and envy." The Buddha responded, "Strength is cultivated with every kind act, every moment of gratitude, and every effort to turn outward instead of inward." He continued, "When a river flows outward to nourish fields, its worth is undeniable. So, too, is the flow of service." The merchant asked, "Can a heart accustomed to comparison and fear truly unlearn these habits and discover the essence of its worth?" The Buddha said, "Even the hardest stone is shaped by the gentle persistence of water. So, too, can your heart change?" The merchant bowed his head, tears streaming as he felt the first stirrings of hope awakening within his deeply troubled heart. The Buddha said, "Do not despair. Begin small. Share kindness in your trade and watch your worth grow like a seed." Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. The merchant reflected, "I often fear I will never be enough, no matter what I possess or how much I achieve." The Buddha said, "Enoughness is not measured by possession or achievement. It is realized when the heart knows peace in its purpose." He added, "A mountain does not strive to be a river. Its worth lies in its steadfastness, its purpose as it is." The merchant asked, "What if I struggle to let go of the habit of comparing? My mind feels trapped in these endless cycles." The Buddha replied, "When the mind wanders, gently guide it back, like a shepherd leading a stray lamb back to the fold." The merchant said, "I shall try to cultivate this practice, though the task feels daunting for a heart weighed down by habit." The Buddha encouraged, "Even the longest journey begins with one step. Walk with intention, and each step will carry you closer to peace." The merchant nodded, the Buddha's words sowing seeds of understanding, though the harvest of self-worth still seemed distant to him. The Buddha said, "Worth is not a destination but a state of being. It is realized in the practice of the present." The merchant said, "I see now that my worth is tied to the intentions behind my actions rather than their external outcomes." The Buddha smiled, "You are beginning to understand. Let this knowledge be the lamp that guides you in your everyday choices." The merchant bowed deeply, feeling the lightness of hope replace the heaviness of doubt he had carried for so many years. The Buddha said, "Remember, worth is as constant as the sun. Even when clouds hide its light, trust in its presence." The merchant said, "I will reflect on your teachings and strive to fill my life with purpose rather than possessions or comparisons." As the merchant departed, the Buddha's words lingered in the hearts of all present, illuminating truths about the essence of worth. The wind whispered through the champaka blossoms, as if carrying the Buddha's wisdom across the land to all who sought it. Another day, under the vast blue sky, the Buddha called his disciples to gather near the shimmering lake at dawn. The disciples approached quietly, sensing that today's teaching would reveal profound truths that touched the depths of their hearts. The Buddha carried with him an intricately carved mirror, its polished surface reflecting the golden hues of the rising sun. He placed the mirror upon the ground and said, "Look into this mirror, and tell me what your reflection reveals." One disciple stepped forward and said, "I see my wrinkles, Lord, a testament to the passing years and my growing burdens." Another disciple spoke, "I see my fading youth, the lines that etch my face, a reminder of time's relentless march forward." A third disciple whispered, "I see sadness in my eyes, a reflection of the grief and struggles that weigh upon my spirit." The Buddha listened attentively, allowing each disciple the space to share their thoughts without judgment or interruption. Then he said, "This mirror reveals the truth of your form, yet does it capture the essence of your worth?" The disciples remained silent, their minds turning inward to ponder the meaning behind the Buddha's profound question. The Buddha continued, "Many see imperfections. Yet this mirror reflects only reality. It does not judge, only presents what exists." He added, "Just as this mirror reflects your faces, the world reflects the intentions and actions you bring to each moment." One disciple asked, "Lord, if the world reflects my intentions, how can I act with purity when doubt clouds my heart?" The Buddha responded, "Act with compassion, wisdom, and courage. Let your intentions be the light that dispels the shadows within you." Another disciple asked, "How can I see beyond my imperfections when they seem to define the image I see before me?" The Buddha smiled gently, saying, "Imperfections are part of the design, like cracks in the earth that allow seeds to sprout and grow." He picked up the mirror and held it to the sky, its surface now reflecting the vast expanse of blue above. "Do you see?" he said. "The imperfections in this glass do not diminish its ability to reveal beauty beyond itself." Another disciple asked, "If I focus on the beauty beyond myself, how can I still honor the flaws that make me human?" The Buddha replied, "Flaws are like clouds. They pass through the sky but do not tarnish its infinite brilliance and boundless nature." One disciple said, "Sometimes I feel my imperfections overshadow the good within me. How can I find balance and peace?" The Buddha responded, "Recognize that imperfections are a part of your humanity. They teach resilience, growth, and the strength to overcome." He then turned the mirror toward his own reflection and said, "Even the enlightened one carries traces of his past journey." The disciples gasped, understanding for the first time that even the Buddha's wisdom was shaped by trials and transformation. The Buddha continued, "Worth is not measured by perfection but by the truth of your being and the purity of your purpose." Another disciple said, "I often fear that my imperfections make me unworthy of love, kindness, and the respect of others." The Buddha replied, "Love is unconditional. Worthiness is inherent, like the light of the sun. Neither depends on flawlessness or perfection." One disciple asked, "How can we remind ourselves of our worth when our minds are consumed by self-doubt and fear?" The Buddha said, "Practice mindfulness. Anchor yourself in the present moment, where doubt cannot thrive and worth shines brightly within." Another disciple asked, "When the world judges us harshly, how can we shield ourselves from letting those judgments define our identity?" The Buddha answered, "Let the judgments be like ripples in a lake. They fade when your inner calm remains undisturbed." The disciples reflected on his words, sensing the wisdom that encouraged them to separate their worth from external voices and opinions. The Buddha said, "True worth is constant, like the stillness beneath a turbulent surface. Trust in its presence, no matter the chaos." One disciple spoke, "I see now that the reflection in the mirror is fleeting, but the essence of worth is eternal." The Buddha smiled, saying, "You have begun to understand. Worth is the seed within you that grows with nurturing and self-acceptance." Another disciple asked, "How can I nurture the seed of worth when life's challenges and disappointments threaten to uproot its growth?" The Buddha said, "Challenges are the rain that nourishes your growth. Each hardship strengthens your roots, allowing your worth to flourish." One disciple said, "Sometimes I feel unworthy of the Buddha's teachings, as if my imperfections disqualify me from wisdom and enlightenment." The Buddha replied, "The teachings are for all, regardless of flaws. Wisdom is universal, like the air we breathe to sustain life." The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts opening to the realization that worth was not exclusive to perfection or achievement. The Buddha said, "Carry this mirror with you, not to see your flaws but to reflect the truth of your intentions." He added, "When you focus on your intentions, the mirror reveals the abundance within rather than the imperfections of your form." The disciples promised to hold this lesson close, embracing the mirror as a symbol of self-worth and inner reflection. The Buddha smiled, his presence radiating serenity as the disciples departed to spread the teachings to others in need. As the sun set, the lake's surface mirrored the golden sky, carrying the Buddha's wisdom to the furthest corners of the earth. I saw beauty even in its imperfection. Buddha leaned forward, touching a fallen petal in the water. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.